sharks in the sea, the short-fin mako is believed to be the fastest, capable of reaching speeds of 46 miles per hour. They're found in warm and cool waters throughout the world, but only when they can be found at all. The International Union for Conservation of Nature classifies the short-fin mako as endangered, which makes a recent discovery in the waters off Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, all the more exciting for conservationists. A veteran scuba diver there recently sighted one of these animals. He said it's the first time in the 10 years he's been diving here that he saw a short-fin mako. The species faces a number of threats. One is being caught accidentally, as it likes to hang out near tuna shoals and is sometimes hauled up by fishing boats. Another is that some people try to catch them for food, and their numbers in the wild are decreasing. Marine biologists hope there are more like this one nearby, so they can be preserved in nature as well as literature. The short-fin mako was featured in the Ernest Hemingway novel, The Old Man and the Sea. Thought the Hemingway reference was this much more sophisticated than singing Baby Shark, but I wanted to. I'm Coral Azus. Fridays are awesome. Welcome to the world from A to Z. Next up, the Asian country of South Korea, which is wrestling with some of the worst wildfires it's ever seen. They've been raging for the past week in the southern part of the country. Authorities don't know yet what caused them. They think the blame lies with human error, possibly an accident during construction or grass burning that got out of control. Powerful gusty winds combined with continued dry weather have helped spread the flames. South Korea's government said Thursday that more than 95,000 acres had burned. Over 2,600 buildings had been destroyed. As far as people go, almost 38,000 have had to evacuate their homes as of last night, while 28 had lost their lives. There's been a cultural impact as well. A Buddhist temple said to date back to the 7th or 8th century had burned to the ground, though it appeared its ceremonial bell might have survived. The same type of disaster has hit the American Southeast as well, also because of gusting winds and low humidity. Forestry services in North and South Carolina say wildfires have burned more than 17,000 acres in those two states. Some of the trees fueling the fires had been knocked down by Hurricane Helene 6 months ago.
I'm hoping that it doesn't jump and we get it over there and burns up our property.
Residents of Polk County, North Carolina are keeping a close eye on the wind and a number of wildfires currently under assault by local fire teams. With wind speeds approaching 15 miles an hour and stronger gusts possible, officials gave this warning to residents in the affected areas.
Begin removing any debris litter, any leaf litter, cleaning out your gutters, taking all your firewood away from your home, just creating a good defensible space.
For some, creating a defensible space simply wasn't possible. Much of western North Carolina is still in the early stages of rebuilding after last year's Hurricane Helene. Matthew Rogers hadn't been to his Flat Rock home since Helene wiped out an access bridge months ago. That bridge recently reopened, but
I said, that's our house. There's our lake.
He watched on social media as flames from Henderson County wildfires completely consumed his cabin before he could return.
Our fireman friend, Phil, called me and said, hey, buddy, I'm sorry.
On this date in world history. The worst nuclear accident in U.S. history took place on this date in 1979. The 3 Mile Island plant near Pennsylvania's capital, Harrisburg, partially melted down and released a small amount of radioactive material. Federal regulations of nuclear plants are now stricter. The first permanent star on Hollywood's Walk of Fame was completed on March 28, 1960. Stanley Kramer received the honor for working on such films as High Noon, The Caine Mutiny, and On the Beach. There are now over 2,700 stars on Hollywood Boulevard and Vine Street. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, come see the greatest show on earth, besides mine. What became the Barnum and Bailey Circus had its first show on March 28, 1881. It was a merger of the shows put on by P.T. Barnum and James Bailey, and its namesake still tours to this day, featuring 75 performers from more than 18 countries.
History isn't only in textbooks. It's all around you. At Educational Travel Adventures, we take students beyond the classroom and out into the world. Your adventure starts here.
Today's World of Viewers segment is brought to you by the letter M, as in Montana. That's where Mrs. Groshen's class is watching. The Cougars of Riverside Middle School are in Billings. Michigan starts with M, and Onaway High School is there with the Cardinals of Mrs. Regglesworth's class. Great to see y'all in Onaway. And how about Maryland? Gotta watch out for the Dragons in Ellicott City who are watching in Mrs. Berkman's class at Glenelg Country School.
Upward and out. Which of these American hospitals delivers the most babies each year? Mount Sinai Hospital, New York, Women's Hospital of Texas, Northside Hospital, Atlanta, Northwestern Memorial, Chicago. For several years now, the hospital that's delivered more babies than any other facility in America is Northside Hospital, Atlanta.
To cheer up hospitalized kids, 13-year-old Juliana Dema and 11-year-old Audrina have sewn and donated over 1,800 brightly colored and playfully patterned gowns. Back in 2017, their little cousin Giada was diagnosed with brain cancer. Just a year old, she was virtually swimming in the too big dull green gown the hospital provided.
So my family had purchased her a hospital gown with like fun prints, like it had Disney on it and like princesses and stuff.
In the next few years, Juliana developed an interest in sewing, and inspired by her little cousin, who is now healthy by the way, decided to make cheerful gowns for other kids fighting life-threatening illnesses.
You know, you can't really have your child in regular clothes. So these really brighten up, you know, what the experience, what you're going through, what parents are going through is just, no one should have to go through it.
No family is ever charged for a gown. Costs are covered by donations of money and material, and others pitch in. A women's group and a church youth group help by cutting fabric, and a hospital linen company cleans all the garments for free before they are sealed and sent to hospitals. Little Vito, hospitalized in January for a heart valve issue when just 9 months old, grinned when hospital staff brought him a gown with the Cars movie pattern.
I like seeing the smile on the kids' faces, even though they're going through such a hard time.
Audrina's specialty is sewing small pillows. They're sent to young patients along with markers that they can use to color them.
There's like always something small you could do to make a difference. Like it doesn't have to be anything big. It could just be something like really simple.
Something simple can lead to something big. The sisters have sent gowns to hospitalized children in 36 U.S. states and 4 African nations. What day is it?
March 28th is Respect Your Cat Day, even if it doesn't respect you back. The holiday's origins might be in a 1384 edict from England's King Richard II, who banned his subjects from eating cats.
Many Major League Baseball teams had their opening day yesterday. Their sport is rife with superstition. One of them centers on this ball used by the Chicago White Sox in 1919. That was the year that several players were accused of intentionally losing the World Series for money. The ball found a couple of years ago in Chicago's Tribune Tower was moved to the Chicago Sports Museum, but many fans believe that's when the modern team started losing more games, contributing to last season's record-setting 121 losses. So the ball was moved back into the Tribune Tower this week in the hopes of helping the White Sox win. Shoeless Joe and Buck Weaver fielded a part of the mystery when the White Sox went down as the Black Sox in baseball history. A great debate will go on about what all the old signs meant, but striking out historic routes could be a worthy assignment. Maybe attrition to superstitions, nothing at all, but there ain't no harm in meaning for a new team to be having a ball. I'm Carl Azus, pitching puns on the world from A to Z, and you mean the world to me.